All right, guys, so I'm super excited about this video because this is day one of the dream home gym build. So there's the shed, technically the new home gym. I'm gonna take you guys starting off this video around the corner, and you'll see an electrical panel on the side. Basically, the first task that we have, which is marking day one, is getting electricity from there to the shed. And since I'm not a certified electrician, I had to call and get a quote. And basically what they're gonna do is they're gonna trench about a 50-foot path down through here, and then the cheapest option was just to have them tie in here. And basically what that's going to do is they're going to install a sub panel, so I'll be able to wire electrical outlets, lighting, and then also a mini split, which if you don't know what a mini split is, it's basically like a mini AC unit slash like heating unit. So bringing you guys into the future home gym, I'm gonna go ahead and warn you, it looks like a bomb went off in here, but we are working on getting it cleaned up. I don't think the video does justice of like how big it actually is, but I think the building's like a 20 by 20. So, you know, plenty of room to put like a big mirror, a big squat rack, maybe a cable machine, some leg machines. So we're in the early processes of how we're gonna design this. But my brother is gonna be flying in from Tennessee, and he's got a lot of experience with like framing and remodeling. So our plan is kind of to do insulation foam board, like the previous owners already kind of started, but honestly, they did like a janky job on it. So we're going to foam board it, install the electrical, wire the lights, put the mini split in, and then I believe we're gonna do plywood on the walls since it's gonna be a gym, and it's just gonna be a lot more durable than using drywall. And then you don't have to do like all of the taping and finishing work that comes with drywall if you guys have ever done that before. So I wanted to document this because if you guys followed me back in, I wanna say like 2017 through 2020, I used to record everything in what I call like a budget bedroom gym. I actually made a video on that I might like link here from my first YouTube channel that did like 400,000 views because I posted it right before the pandemic happened and everyone was searching for a home gym. So I started out there with a budget of around $400 or $500, and now it's a blessing that I'm gonna get to build like an actual like dream home gym. We're doing this professionally, we're doing it right. We're gonna start off with the electrical. So today is day one of the dream home gym build. And I guess the next step is just to do like a time lapse and show you guys the complete process. So I'm sure this will end up being a long video, but if you guys also wanna build, you know, a garage gym, a metal shed gym like I'm doing, hopefully this gives you some inspiration. All right, so here is the finished work after the electricians. So got the electrical ran in here, and I'll show you what they ended up installing. So got the sub panel right here. And the next step is gonna be for me and my brother to run electrical all throughout here. But really the next step is getting the shop cleaned up. So I started over here just reorganizing, but the goal is to take everything out of here and then move it into the little shed that I'm using as an office. So keep you guys up to date.
A little bit of food and some fun, yeah. Because it's never enough. It takes a whole lot of green just to live up. And when times are getting rough, I gotta let it all out, all out, all out.
All right, so here's how we're looking after getting most of all of that junk taken out of here. The problem is that all I did was took it out and then just moved it under the lean-to, and then the electronics and TVs and extra stuff we had, those are gonna go inside so they don't ruin sitting outside. And then I think I'm gonna run to Harbor Freight and just get a tarp. But wanted to point this out to you guys. So the previous owners, see if I can zoom in, it looks like they use like 1/2-inch insulation. And with me being in Florida, it's definitely not enough. So I'm planning to go with 2-inch on the top. And then you can see that they just took like the foam spray and tried to fill in cracks. But when I was looking, you can see that they left a lot of gaps, which is a big no-no, especially if you're, you know, trying to keep the heat or the cold from coming in. So I think I'm gonna tear all of this down and then do 2-inch and then tape all the seams, and that's what's gonna be all around here as well. So stay tuned. It is officially day one of the home gym build. We got brother in town, and I wanted to show you guys exactly what we're gonna be using. So we're gonna do 2-inch foam board, for the ceiling since we're in Florida and it gets super hot, especially like beating down on the roof. And then for the actual walls, we're gonna do OSB, which was about the same price as the drywall, but you don't have to do all the finishing work. And then being in the gym, if we hit the wall with like a plate or a barbell, it's gonna be a lot better and more durable. And then coming over here, we're just gonna be doing the 1x4, screwing that plywood into that and then putting these on the metal studs. And then you can show them right here where he's ripping the insulation. Since it's a 4x8 and the gap between each stud is 5, we're gonna have to be doing cuts, which we'll run in here and show them that. So his expertise is in electrical, so he, picked out everything we needed. We went this morning to get all that. So the conduit, the plugs, I think we're gonna be doing like 7 outlets. And then as far as the insulation, we're doing 1 inch on the wall. We got to remove the previous owner, all the stuff they did, and put the 2-inch. What we're having to do, since this is a 5-foot section, like I just said, was put the 4x8 here, and then we're cutting another piece to fit that, and then we'll come through, use the foil tape to completely seal it, and then I'll have to go through with some spray foam on some of these other cracks. So day 1, I'll probably just run a time lapse from here on out and then show you guys the after. All right, so it is day 2. Absolutely pouring right now. You probably can't even hear me, but I'll show you guys. We started tearing down all of that insulation up there, and it has made an absolute mess. So he's going to continue. We only have 1 ladder for now, and then I'm going through and just cleaning up behind.
I gotta let it all out, all out, all out. Hey, I gotta let it all out, all out, all out. Ooh, I gotta let it all out, all out, all out. Yeah, I gotta let it all out, all out, all out.
We are a couple of hours into day 3. Day 3 was supposed to be the home stretch. This was when we were supposed to wake up, start putting up all the OSB, the plywood, and start painting, and then get the gym built. But as you guys know that have ever done any DIY projects, it ends up taking longer than you estimate. And then you forget material, then you got to go back to Lowe's, then you get the wrong thing, then you got to go back again. So that's kind of what happened yesterday. But my brother stayed up a little later last night and kept working on the electrical. All he has left now is just tying into the sub panel, and then we're both gonna start working on the furring strips, which I've kind of been doing solo. The insulation is like 90% complete. There's still some gaps up there that we gotta make some like special cuts to fill in, and then we will be rocking and rolling on the OSB.
Ways the world is turning, this crazy life. When I stop and think about it, it covers my life. The rhythm of the world is changing.
Day 4, we started off the morning getting a material list because we still needed to go back to Lowe's to get things to wire up the HVAC. We're gonna be just putting it on like a concrete pad, but we might use pavers. And then he also had to get the breaker as well as the like junction box that's gonna go on the outside. So there's a shut off. I can't flip the camera around, but my brother is currently wiring in the lights. So the electrical is like 99% done. Once he finishes that, I've got to patch up some insulation. Once the insulation is done, we will move to setting up the the rest of these boards, which I think I said it in the other update, maybe not. We had to kind of do some things around the trusses that are holding that together, the support beams. So day 4, we're hoping to be wrapped up by day 5, but we shall see.
Living in the morning's rise, I won't rush, I will wait. I'll give my offerings, you know I'll find my grace. I will embrace the changes on these bridges I've made, down every path I take. I breathe it in the air.
Guys, we're gonna put the mini split. I'm gonna have to add some dirt and then grade this out, and then I'm just gonna be doing some pavers that I have left over. This is just kind of a temporary pad because we plan to do pavers on all of this and then put another lean-to so I can park a car under here. But this is what we got going on right now. If you're curious about this mini split, I got it on Amazon. It's an 18,000 BTU, and I think it was like right under $500, which some people were saying that you shouldn't go cheap with these things, but the way I look at it is if I get a couple years out of it and it goes and then I can spend another $500, it's better than spending what I think is probably $1,500 or $2,000 on pretty much the same thing that, you know, came from China, but since they put their logo on it, they want to charge $1,500 or $2,000. Could be completely wrong, but I'm going to take the risk with this Amazon mini split. So we are actually officially on the home stretch. We have the ceiling fan drilled, and I'll show you where we're gonna be doing the lighting. So I think we're down to about, let's see, 5 or 6 boards left, a couple cuts, and then we're done. Are you ready? Yep. I got it. Good. You good? Yep. All right, perfect.
Hang on. Pull your end down for a second. Let me get it up. All right.
Good.
Yeah. You need to come your way.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm good. We good to go?
Yeah.
Six days later, and we have put the final board on the ceiling. The only thing we have left is these little rips here and over there, which should take us like 20 minutes. And then, as you can see, we only have this one light, so we're gonna get these lights mounted, this one mounted, and then we're gonna start priming. So as you guys can see, the walls are up, the roof is up. Yesterday was probably one of the most challenging days. One, because we were like the most exhausted because we'd technically been working like 5 to 6 days in a row, from sun up to sundown. And then 2, the 1/2-inch OSB is super heavy, and I only had like this little step ladder, and then he has the 8-foot ladder. Probably should have invested in another one to be able to make the project easier. But that's what I wanted to do in this part, is go through the things we could have done better, because there still should be several minutes left of the video to where you guys are seeing the complete setup. I don't want to just finish it here and post it, because this is no different than just someone doing like a DIY garage project. I want to show you guys the paint process. I want to show you the process of me, you know, decking it out with equipment and then putting the sauna and the cold plunge, basically finishing this video up with the whole setup. So we wanted to do a quick recap on the things we could have done better. Number one thing we would have done different is plan better. So I had to make multiple trips to Lowe's, Ace Hardware, just for like little things. So like we were really gung-ho on the project when we were talking back and forth on the phone because he's in Tennessee. And when you got here, the first night we went to Lowe's and
Luckily it was closed.
Yeah. So he came down on New Year's and Lowe's was closed, but it was already late. And the first day we went inside of Lowe's, we were in there like 2 hours just getting all the material together. So number one is we 100% would have planned better. Number 2 is scaffolding. So
Yeah, I should have bought some of the scaffolding or ladder, which we got it done and saved. You saved some money there. We got it done.
yeah.
And did absolutely 100% need it, but would it have made it easier?
Yeah, so we would have definitely invested in scaffolding. I think you can rent it too. I don't know if it would have been better just to purchase it outright, but scaffolding was another one. And then I think for me, I would have probably did drywall. So I originally did the OSB to try to save money, but like between how heavy it was, all the cuts we had to make, and how kind of like brittle it is, like once you damage it, it's not as easy as drywall where you can just like tape and mud it to fix it. Personally, I probably would have done drywall.
But with it being the home gym, I think you made the right call with the OSB.
Yeah.
So now you don't have to worry about holes getting punched in your wall from just
Yeah.
nuanced things.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah, because this stuff is solid. So we talked through just like planning better, so making sure we had all the materials. I mean, we technically had all the tools we needed other than another ladder and a taller ladder and scaffolding.
The only thing we bought was a chalk line as far as tool goes.
Yeah, we had to get a chalk line. But yeah, that's kind of the recap on day 7. Technically, it's day 6 because he got here late.
Really about 5 3/4 if you count all the.
Yeah.
Like, we really should have sat down when I got here Thursday night. We should have sat down and put pen to paper and really drew a blueprint out.
Yeah.
We really done this just off the seat, like just kind of off the fly.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's the next recap, and then you guys should see the time lapse of priming, painting, and then Rogue equipment I ordered is on back order, but I'll show you guys all that, so stay tuned. All right, bro just came off the ladder. Let's see if he knows what he's doing. Bam! Good shit, dude. Let's go. All right, guys, so it has been a couple of days since I've turned the camera on. I'm not gonna lie, I've slacked on the content, and what kind of frustrates me with myself is that I've recorded all the content up until some of the best points, which was, and I think I did put a time lapse of me painting a little bit, but I got it painted, I got the baseboards put in, but I didn't really talk much about that because it's all kind of straightforward. The paint sprayer saves so much time versus, like rolling it. And then the baseboards are just a simple 1x4. I think they were like $4 or $5 a piece from Lowe's. Now, I did some research because before I used Tractor Supply horse stall mats in the bedroom gym, but they always would off gas and they stunk really bad, like chemicals. So for this one, I went with Lowe's. Let me see if I can get down there on the logo. It is a Traffic Master, and instead of a 4x6, they're like 3.5x6. So I've had to do some special cutting, which all you need is just like a basic razor blade, and then just make some straight cuts. But last bit is gonna be here. I came up short, and then I gotta figure out what to do right here with the door, because the door is completely rubbing against the floor, and these are 3/4 of an inch thick. So I'm either gonna cut the bottom of the door, thought about replacing it because from the previous owner, it's already damaged and it's actually really nasty and needs to be cleaned, or I'm just gonna end up reversing it. So instead of opening, on the inside, it opens outside, and then I can just have those just flush with the concrete. But as far as the day 10, day 11 update, we now have the first piece of equipment, which is the Titan Fitness leg curl and leg extension. I'm not putting that together yet. Main update is that I need to get this flooring finished, and then once that's here, I gotta get the mirrors installed, which I ordered on Amazon. I think they'll be I wanna say it was 6 foot by 8 foot, so pretty good mirror section. And then it's just gonna be getting the equipment. So I ordered the Rogue cable tower, and it said 6 to 8 weeks to ship. So once that gets in here, I'll be bringing you guys some gym content, but showing you real quick. Haven't really showed you my desk setup either. It's all like messy right now, but this is where I'm gonna do most of my work. And then I'm going to put the leg extension over here, the mirrors up here, dumbbell rack, all the stuff I've already talked about. But that is the day 10/day 11, whatever freaking day it is. I've been recording for almost 2 weeks straight, so it's all kind of a blur, but hope you guys are enjoying it. In case you guys were wondering what it's like to order huge mirrors from Amazon, so far, I don't see any cracks. I hope that is not a crack. Nope, it's just plastic. But it looks like they sent some hardware, also the like metal strips, and then it looks like some gloves as well. So these are 63 by 24. I'm right at 6 foot, so they're gonna be nice to be able to fill up like this entire back wall. I've got another box, so there should be 2 per box. And I'm going to attempt to hang these myself and not wait for my fiance her next day off, because it's like 3 days away. So I'm impatient. I'm gonna try it myself. Hopefully I don't break them. So I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys. I do not feel like getting on YouTube and figuring out like how to hang a mirror as one person. So what comes to mind is I can shoot one of these brad nails. Since they're really small, you won't be able to see them. And plus the mirror will eventually cover them up. But I mounted and leveled that bottom bracket. Once I put the mirror in, it wants to like fall forward. So I went outside and found some like scrap pieces of wood. So I'm just gonna shoot a brad nail through there to kind of hold that in place, and then put that top bracket on there. So we'll see if it works. So as I set that in there, see how it wants to fall forward? I probably could hold it and do all these other things, but if I can just find a way to secure it, it's in line. All right, we'll see if this works. Key here is not to brad nail the mirror. Okay, it looks like that worked. Now I'm gonna put a second one just to be super cautious. And we are finished. So that job actually wasn't as hard as I thought. If I would have cleaned up all this stuff on the floor, maybe I wouldn't have been tripping over everything, could have got it done sooner. But as far as the quality of these mirrors, I've never purchased mirrors before. I've never spent hundreds of dollars on mirrors before. So I was kind of like up in the air about what's the best way to go about it. There was a company called Light Mirror that I was looking into that some other people on YouTube in their gyms had put in mirrors, and the initial cost for like a 6 foot by 8 foot mirror was like $800. And I thought to myself, I'm like, that's absolutely crazy for a mirror, but it's made out of like stretched aluminum. So like this could actually shatter because it's like actually glass. Their mirrors look like mirrors, but they're stretched aluminum where you can literally like push into them, and they weigh like 10 pounds. So I would say this weighs maybe over 100 pounds. Their stuff weighed 10 pounds. I called customer service, like, you know, figured out what I needed for, you know, the setup, because they have like a bunch of different models. And, you know, I was ready to pull the trigger, and then I go to their website, going to check out, and it was $325 for shipping. I was like, dude, I'm not paying $1,200 or whatever it was going to be with taxes for a freaking mirror. So $300 on Amazon, each box is like 150 bucks, free shipping. Yes, there's like lines in it and whatnot, but end of the day, this is going to work for the setup that I have. So that's really what I visualized. Do I wish it was just like a little bit wider? So like maybe here and then like there, yeah, but you can see there's an outlet up there. So it'll work. I give it a 10 out of 10, man. I'm happy with it. We'll just hope and pray that those don't fall off the wall. Hope I did it right. moment of truth, grand finale, 3 weeks later, we now have ourselves a home gym. So what I wanna do now is flip the camera around, give you guys like a tour. The first thing I wanna say before that though is truly thank you so much if you're still here. I know this video is probably like 30 minutes long, so you taking time out of your day to watch this and support the content, like it literally means so much to me. So I don't say that to be like cringy or like cheesy, how people are like, oh, like the video, subscribe and all that. Like each and every one of you guys that comments and my content has helped you. Like this started out as a passion of mine and now I'm getting to do things like this. So truly appreciate you guys, but I'm gonna turn the camera around and then we're gonna talk through the home gym. Okay, so starting off with a wide angle so you guys can kind of see where we're at, we're gonna go over to the shipping station. Not gonna talk much about my desk, but if you didn't know, I launched a goal setting / workout planner probably about 3 or 4 months ago. I don't promote it much, just mostly in my newsletter or for anyone who needs to track their lifts, but goal setting is what changed my life. So this is like a passion project for me, but this is where I'm gonna be shipping out those orders. Now, right here is obviously a sauna. And if you guys watch that time lapse, like even though it was blurry, it's really like 4 or 5 steps to putting this thing together. It takes like 10 minutes and it's not that heavy. But if you can afford a sauna, which I got this on Marketplace for $500, like to this day, it's still probably one of the best finds on Marketplace because I'm pretty sure it's like a $2,500 sauna. And an older guy owned it and had used it like one time and just left it in his garage. So absolute like great deal on this thing. But saunas have tremendous benefits. So if you can implement the sauna, even if it's just a couple times a week, like do it. Personally, I'm gonna try to get in there every single night, and especially now that it's like in here, there's really no excuse. So that's the sauna. And then moving over to here, by the way, guys, like everything you're seeing other than the dumbbells and the bench, I paid for. So I paid for the Rogue machine, the Titan machine. And I say that because like fitness influencers are known to get things for free from all these companies, but I have no official partnerships with companies. I never want to promote something like just to try to make money. Like I want my brand to stay transparent and I want to be like true to you guys. Like if I promote something, it's because I actually use it. So these dumbbells and then these 2 benches, which this is like a leg curl and leg extension, was sent to me for free. That was like 2 years ago when I used to make content in a home gym, and the company is EvolPal. I will say that their dumbbells are super, super nice. And if you guys are wondering why these are really dirty, they've been outside under a tarp, under a lean-to, and they've just got like dust and pollen on them. So I'm gonna have to clean all this. But being transparent, like this equipment is mediocre. The dumbbells are extremely nice, but the bench, like my girl stood on it to do pull-ups on the squat rack because she couldn't reach, and then this snapped. So like the particle board or whatever they're using is pretty cheap. But then again, it could have been my girl, like maybe she jumped on it. So I'm not gonna put the company at fault, but like even things like this, with it being tightened down, it's just, it's mediocre equipment. It's not gonna be anything like Rogue or Titan, but also the price point is a lot different. So if you're on a budget, like EvolPal would be, a good option. So the plan is to use this as like a preacher curl setup, because it was a leg extension, but now that I have an actual leg extension leg curl, I don't need that little attachment that goes right there. So I'm just gonna like use this as a bench / preacher curl. And then I will be replacing this bench. I thought about just getting like another piece of wood, because it's not like, if I get up close on it, I mean, it's decent quality, but I think I'm gonna go with something with Rogue, but we shall see. And then moving over to the newest piece is the Rogue CTM cable tower. This thing is an absolute beast. Then you have this like seat, which is adjustable and flips upside down to where you can do like barbell rows. Once again, I'll be making content on all this stuff, showing you guys like actual workouts. So this thing is insanity. And then you guys got to see this being put together as well. It is the Titan Fitness leg curl, leg extension. And then I have a squat rack that's outside. I just don't feel like taking it apart right now to try to get it through the door. But I'm probably either gonna do a squat rack right here or end up getting a leg press. And then this is gonna be the cold plunge setup. And I put this here just so I can drain it outside of the door until I'm able to like run something through the wall. So guys, I appreciate you so much. Like this video has been, 3+ weeks in the making, just slowly chipping away at it. But I mean it when I say I appreciate every single one of you guys that tunes in and just supports the content. So I really hope that this home gym build out has inspired you, because as you guys could see, it went from just being a metal shed with a bunch of junk in it to literally a dream setup. So appreciate you guys. I will talk to y'all on the next one. Peace.